then like when I'd come in, someone else would bring me water or a little snack or something. So everyone on the team did their part.
I think there was such a wide variety of different teams. There was almost sort of a lack of passion amongst a lot of the teams. And so that was interesting to see, because there were a lot of teams that had re-entered old vehicles and 5-year-old vehicles and things like that. And you really saw how they had no idea what their car was actually all about. The best thing about our team is that you can pretty much ask anybody on the team about a certain part of the car, and they'll know sort of the steps that went along with it, and how long it took to make, and what material it is, and whether it was man-made or machine-made, and things like that. So it was neat to see how our team really knew the car. In terms of dynamic between teams, it was pretty. I thought it was pretty friendly, I guess. I felt like everybody there, for the most part, knew the exact same struggles that every other person had gone through there, and so it was almost humbling, because here you are, you build this car for 9 months, and you spend all this time on it, and money, and effort, and late nights, and all that stuff, and then you realize that, and you always think, this is, oh my God, we must be the only ones doing this. It's so impossible, and how come there's no rewards being reaped or anything like that while you're doing it? And then all of a sudden you get there and you realize that there were 33 other teams, 32 other teams that did the exact same thing.
Being the driver, I felt that I had a large part in leadership, because I didn't try to be bossy or anything, but I'm driving, so I have to feel comfortable in the car. Obviously it wasn't all about comfort, but if the wheels were wobbling or something was chattering on the car, I had to let them know about it, and like, hey, fix this, and I had to keep on with people, telling them to get it done and make sure we were ready for competition, and obviously everyone did a great job of that.
That's really where the strength of our team came, was from having such this wide, diverse group of individuals who all contributed and put forth their efforts and their work and their time, and set aside other priorities that they had in the past, and really devoted everything they had to this team.
You finished a class, went to SMV, slept, woke up, went to class, worked on SMV, and slept. I mean, it was every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday.
I probably put in close to 20-25 hours a week.
Time commitment. Well, I'm a little more involved than most people. Sven, of course, it's his life. It's pretty much my life.
Like last night we were up until 1:30, so
I couldn't even count how many hours.
I'd have to say that I don't think a single person here has put in more time than Sven, so my commitment is probably a lot smaller than his.
I don't know. In the end effect, who's counting? I don't know. It's like, there's no way that you'll be able, I think you could ever quantify a certain amount of true time put into the project, just because it's like, do you count the 15 minutes that you were just like randomly thinking about an idea, or like, how do you ever quantify that, that when you're sitting in class and you're learning about something and you're, doodling a steering system or sketching a design.
The best thing about this project was actually going to competition, seeing what other people have brought, seeing what their ideas, and seeing how our ideas kind of match up, if we're on par, if we're off. The overall teamwork of everybody working together, I had a real good time doing that.
Definitely just hanging out with the guys is a lot of fun, and creating our own parts, I guess, is a lot of fun also.
Well, the most rewarding part of this project is, I guess, everything. I know that's kind of a bland answer, but like just working with Sven, I mean, he's an amazing guy. Well, getting my hands dirty, I mean, obviously they're dirty. So you get a lot of work out of this, and I enjoy the physical part of the work, and seeing that final day when she's rolling down the track and you can say, I built that vehicle.
Just being part of a team, building leadership, designing stuff, I always loved doing that. Worked on bikes my whole life, worked in the garage with my dad all the time. I just felt this would be a great opportunity to enjoy something here at MSOE.
This whole experience has been constantly learning, which is great. I get the classroom at school, and then weekends and all the rest of my free time was SMV.
I would say the most challenging part is figuring out exactly what we need, what we can and can't do, and then especially after we do something and then realize, oh, we actually do it slightly differently, and having to go back and change things accordingly.
Realizing that in the end, it'll all work out.
Because sometimes people get so focused, the engine, typical typical engineer people think of as Rube Goldberg, hey, we're going to make this as complicated as possible, and it's like, no, you just need one thing. You don't need all these buttons and gadgets.
Just getting everybody to, I don't know, work together has been kind of difficult. I mean, we all have very difficult schedules. We're all full-time students at MSOE and then trying to do a car on the side.
Obviously, the biggest thing that a lot of people have learned is teamwork. We had a large team, and there's so many different ideas out there. People, trying to throw in their own knowledge, and so you got to be able to, agree with people, work with people.
Without even realizing it, we've got such a dynamic team. I mean, like M's, E's, A's. So it's like, I think that's the coolest part.
We want people to really think about where things can go, or what potentials are out there as far as where cars can go.
Cars don't need to be so big. Here we see large luxury boats, you have SUVs, a lot of them are needed. Here we have a bare bones minimum car that, will coast for the other cars might drive on a tank of gas.
Well, I would say that a lot of the stuff we do on it can, while we're doing it on a very small scale, a small, barely fits one person scale, a lot of the work we do in terms of aerodynamics and tuning an engine to get as much performance, not performance, but efficiency as possible can be used and applied on a large scale.
But I think the way that we drive it would be what people should take away from it. Or how car manufacturers should take away from it, because you can, start the engine is what we do, and then drive for a while and shut it off and coast. I think that is a good way to increase gas mileage.
I'd personally really like to see them go to electric, because I mean, you can store electricity in a battery and then get your electricity from wind, solar, whatever you really want. I mean, that's a renewable source, and then just use your electricity. And electric motors are really efficient, which is obviously really nice from an engineering standpoint.
I think it's not going to be electric, to be honest. I wouldn't think so, at least, because the convenience factor doesn't exist with that. You have to plug it in all the time, all that kind of stuff. I would say more for like a fuel like hydrogen or another fuel that's better on the environment and possibly even more efficient than gasoline.
I would say biomass is what's going to happen next, biodiesel. Once we can redefine that a little bit, I think that's going to be where everything goes.
Like, the internal combustion engine is never really going to go away. I mean, like, there are so many people who love their muscle cars and just love working on their engines, so.
I think we'll be running off of gas for a long time still.
I think in the next 40 to 30 years, we'll see a lot of mixed electric and internal combustion engines, and then we'll probably switch over to hydrogen fuel cells, and then I think eventually we'll move to complete electric cars once we get the technology. But that's not for a long time. A long, long time.
I think the direct future, we should work on diesel hybrid. With gasoline hybrid getting upwards of 60 miles to the gallon, I believe a diesel hybrid would be able to far surpass that.
I think we're going to go towards biofuels. I don't think we'll ever get rid of gasoline totally, just because it's got so much power per unit of fuel. But I think we'll go more towards the biofuels, because people still like to pump stuff in the cars.